Fire, lightning, darkness, and magic are all in fact words that are both nouns and representatives for the four main elements found in Dark Souls 2, which is definitely one of the Dark Souls games of all time. Each element is very dangerous and can be rather harmful to your health, but what if that didn't have to be the case? What if you could simply say no to the idea of being vaporized by the infernal fires of Iron Keep? Say no to being bullied online with lightning. Say no to the dark thoughts in your head. And say no to being molested by the evil witches of the Shrine of Amana. So today, we will resist against the tyrannical elemental oppressors with the help of our unlimited store credit to Spirit Halloween. I decided to start as the Explorer because I felt like it kind of fit the idea of the video, as I carry around my assorted range of garbage in search of the trinkets that I require to deny the elements access to my body. But before we get started, let me explain the plan. We first need to get access to the Old Iron King and Sunken King DLCs, which in total have 5 items that we need. The 4 quartz plus 3 rings, 1 for each element, and the dispelling ring plus 1. When we use those rings, along with the assortment of clothing, it will allow us to get our elemental defense to be over 90% and make us basically unkillable with elemental attacks, at least for a time. For now, here's my spreadsheet. But by the way, this plan is kind of in flux, and I ended up finding out that upgrading my armor would be really difficult. But with that out of the way, let's begin. Before I headed to Majula, I went back the way I came to kill this weird guy over here. He may have been one of the old folks from the Hospice Center over there, but he has something I want. The stone ring. Why do I want it? No reason really, I don't even know what it does, but my ape brain just won't let me leave without it, so now it's mine. Now in Majula, I loot everything here and then upgrade my flask while talking to the Emerald Herald. Then I went south, or I don't have a compass or a map, so I don't really know which direction this is, but I headed to the Forest of Fallen Giants, where I bought the key for the blacksmith shop and got my weapon from up here. And did you know that this door is supposed to be open with a soldier's key, but you can actually just smash through it, and then the loot's all yours. And this will be my weapon for the first leg of our journey, the hand axe, which is actually one of my favorite weapons in the game. Next, I shook down Kale for his house keys so I can get the Estus Flash shard out of his basement. I'll be doing his quest later too, so off he goes. Finally, I grabbed the Estus Flash shard from up here before heading down to kill the last giant, with my weapon covered in the aromatic ooze.
This is cum!
With the souls obtained, I went and bought the Silver Cat ring from the Talking Cat before returning to the Forest of Fallen Giants to get the Heavy Iron Key for the Old Iron King DLC. With that done, I'll not be heading down the hole because I thought that now would be a great time to go and kill the Dragon Rider. So I did, and then I used the souls to boost my health, and now we're getting down and dirty in the gutter. I grabbed the Estus Flash shard in the gutter before heading down the Black Gulch, where the Rotten lives, and he's just one of my favorite bosses. And spoiler, by the time I was done with this playthrough, I had cleared out the Rotten saving account multiple times. With the Rotten dead, I then decided that I would take a detour and head down to No Man's Wharf, where I was able to meet Gavlan and buy his poison throwing knives, which I plan on using on the giants down in the gutter. While I was in No Man's Wharf, I decided that I might as well kill the Flexile Sentry and then head off to the Lost Bastille, where I could grab another Estus Flash shard before heading down back into the gutter to kill the 2 giants down there. And after I got the Forgotten Key, then it was as easy as just jumping down the hole again and using the Forgotten Key to open up the room that has the Dragon's Talon, which you used to access the Sunken King DLC, which I promptly did, before realizing that I was getting the shit beat out of me, so I decided that I probably should leave for now. But not before getting the first of the 5 rings that I need, the Dark Quartz ring plus 3. To get my damage up, I decided that I probably should infuse my weapon, so I went and fought the Pursuer and then took the bird all the way to the Lost Bastille. But now we're on the other side and I can grab the Dull Ember. But I realized after talking to Steady Hand McDuff that I need a stone, and I was planning on going with a raw infusion because most of my points would be going into intelligence and faith. The best place that I could think of that I could get a raw stone was in the Shaded Ruins, so I headed that way, and while I was there I made sure to free Weaponsmith Ornifex before killing Basilisks until I got the raw stone. Which, by the way, leave a comment if you know which weapon that I'm planning on getting from Weaponsmith Ornifex for this playthrough. But for now, I'm heading back to the Sunken King DLC, and with the plus 10 raw hand axe, I got a bit further, but the raw hand axe did not save me from Alana the Squalid Queen, who is the queen of bullshit. So after getting trounced by Alana in her summons for like the 10th time, I decided that I'd leave for now and go kill the Old Iron King because I need to do his DLC too anyways. I don't feel like spending that much time talking about this part of the game, so we're just gonna go from me getting extorted to me showing up at Iron Keep. And then look at that, now I'm fighting the Old Iron King, and now the Old Iron King is dead. And now I'm taking the elevator up to Broom Tower. Finally, I get another one of the items that we need, and it's the Flame Quartz Ring plus 3, from probably one of the worst rooms in all of FromSoft games. This room fucking sucks. But now, after finally escaping that room, I have to turn on the power like this is some sort of COD Zombies map. So now I need to get the Scorching Iron Rod, which is over here, but look at this gooning room, and I wonder what editing me is gonna put there. But now with the power on, I can grab the plus 3 Spell Quartz Ring over here, which I could have grabbed at any time, but I waited, because now we can also go get the Dispelling Ring plus 1 by using this guy and then blowing him up. Next I headed to Sinner's Rise, so I could grab the Blossom Shield and then kill the Lost Sinner. Because originally I was planning on using her penal mask and the penal handcuffs as part of my fire set, but that didn't end up happening, and I'll explain that later. But for now, I'm gonna be wearing that for a bit, along with the Hexer's robes and the Hexer's boots, which I got from Falcon after having 20 in faith and intelligence. Now, I decided that I was ready to fight Alana again, and eventually, with enough persistence, I was able to beat her, and then I moved on to Sin the Slumbering Dragon. Which, I didn't want to have to kill him, but I needed that spear from inside his body. So I was going to have to tear it out whether he liked it or not. So now we have Sin's Soul, which we'll craft into our weapon, which is Yorg's Spear, I think, I don't know. Yorg apparently was some guy who decided to stab him and then set off a biohazard incident. But we need to get to Weaponsmith Ornifex's workshop, so we have to first go through the fake Quelaag, then kill the Prowling Magus and his congregation. Then finally we can head into Weaponsmith Ornifex's workshop. And we get our first one for free, so here we go. You may be wondering, why do we want Yorg's Spear? And we want it because it gives us 70 to each of our elemental damage resistances, so it was a must for this challenge. I then upgraded Yorg's Spear, but then I needed more petrified dragon bones. So then I actually found this little area over here in Broom Tower, where you can actually get 8 petrified dragon bones at once by blowing up this wall. I also decided to go with Raw again as my infusion, because most of my points are now in Faith and Intelligence for the increases that they give to your defense stats against elemental damage. Then I finally decided that it was time to grab the Thunder Course plus 3 ring, so I went back to the Sanctum City and grabbed it. Now, before I can head in the Drangleic Castle, I just have one more thing to take care of, which is the Duke's Dear Freya. So that's what I did, and I killed him, and then... Once I get inside of Drangleic Castle, I'm able to buy Great Magic Barrier from the Chancellor. Nothing important really happens from this point onward until I get to the Undead Crypt, but just don't ask why I'm naked right now. Once I got to the Undead Crypt, there was another Aldia jump scare. Before then, I went and killed Velstadt and claimed the King Ring. Now with the King Ring, we can go a couple directions, but I chose to go to Aldia's Keep. I went through there, killed the Guardian Dragon, went up to the Dragon Eyrie, and then I was able to get the Age Feather from the Emerald Herald. Then we get our final, but small, hamster. Before I go, I make sure to grab the Ashen Mist Heart because I'm going to need that for Kale's quest. Now we're on the final stretch, and we're going to do something that might surprise some of you guys. We're going to go and fight the Throne Watcher and Throne Defender before ever even fighting the Giant Lord. With the Throne Watcher and Throne Defender defeated, we can now go to Kale, and all the fires have been lit, so now he will give us his clothing and he has like dementia now. But we only needed really his helm, because we're going to go do the Royal Sorcerer Navlon's quest. And his quest is about like assassinating people, but he'll only talk to you in his like evil form if you're hollowed. So you just need to show up hollowed and he'll ask for a set of items. All the items can be gotten by either killing the NPC or just getting it from a different way, and that's why we need to do Kale's quest, because I didn't feel like killing him. The other items are the Sunset Staff from Falcon the Outcast, the aged feather from the Emerald Herald, and the miniature ladder from the ladder guy. For each one of those items you give him, he'll give you a reward, but we don't really care about those, and we just want to get to the end of his quest where he'll give us the Chaos set, and he'll also allow us to buy items from him now, and we're going to want to buy the Black Witch set. Ultimately, I ended up grabbing a couple more items, which are the Warlock Mask, the Black Boots, the Saint's Trousers, and the Archdrake Helm. All those items ended up going to waste though, as I did a big think, and then I saw that I could probably just upgrade one set, being the Black Witch set, and have good defenses across the board, because if I just upgraded this one, then it would have better defenses than all the best stuff unupgraded. So that's what I did, but I did add the Warlock Mask on top because the Witch Hat is kind of shit. Ultimately, all that really matters is if they do the job, and as you can see on my very professional spreadsheet, we have 1,000 across the board. So what does that mean? It means that we'll end up with an elemental damage resistance of 99.9%, because it's actually impossible to be immune to damage as they patch that out, but I mean if you use an Elizabeth's Mushroom, then would you look at that? So as I show you the different results, let's talk about some things. And first off, the Fire Resist is the lowest of all 4 stats, but we can easily fix that by substituting Great Magic Barrier for Flash Sweat to get us back up to 99.9% resist. And with lightning, I just don't even know what to say about lightning. It just doesn't exist in this game. There's like a total of like maybe 4 enemies that use lightning attacks. And the main one of those, the one you're probably thinking of, is the Looking Glass Knight, but in his arena it's always raining, so you're always at a negative 100 debuff of lightning defense. So that just kind of doesn't work for our situation. But yeah, who cares, lightning's not even in this game. Finally, with Great Magic Barrier, it ends up being the real bottleneck in this situation, as it has a rather short duration and you don't get very many uses, but we're all just here for fun. So here we are, at the end of yet another one of my dumb videos, and if you're still here, then I thank you. Let me know what you thought of this little thought experiment in the comments, and if you'd like to see more, then maybe subscribe, as the support always helps me keep the dark thoughts away.